4 boosters, and they will massively contribute to the atmospheric flight phase. They account for 85% of the total mass of the launch vehicle, and satellite only accounts for 1% of the total launcher mass.
It's true, that's usually the case in the space sector. So liftoff in 1 minute. So what are your feelings just now?
As ever, tremendous focus right now, and every launch is a technical and collective launch that is quite unique.
It's always unique. Yeah.
This is the most tense moment in the chronology. Liftoff is really a very special moment indeed.
So we are here, Paris and Kourou, witnessing this liftoff. We see the first mast pulling away from the launch vehicle. We will now remain silent during the liftoff, and we'll be back in a few moments.
Largage du VKM, allumage du triétage. À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top, décollage.
Nos caméras arrivent encore à suivre Soyuz.
You see our cameras are still tracking the Soyuz, the launcher beyond the clouds canopy with its engines. So can we describe in detail this atmospheric phase of the launch?
Yes, the atmospheric flight sequence is flight phase is said to be quite set. It doesn't change from flight to flight. The objective is really to guarantee the structural resilience of the launcher with the nil angle of attack here, nil inclination, and the monitoring of this whole flight is authorized and made possible thanks to a very important operation, which is that of CDI. This is the real-time visual control, and these controls that checks that the flight is nominal, that is as expected, and allows to tell the clients and confirm to the clients that the flight has gone as planned. So data comes via the downward branch stations spread all over the world, and will be and these centers
will announce the separation of the boosters. It's still there on the screen, and this is happening right in front of your eyes. We've just seen the separation of the 4 boosters. So Soyuz was 300 tons heavy, and in a matter of 2 minutes it lost over half of its weight. Is totally nominal, is that according to plan?
Confirmation of separation of lateral boosters.
So Remy is connected to the CVI, so throughout the video transmission you will be relaying any confirmation or milestones announced by the CVI. A few words about what is at the top of the launcher, that is the fairing.
To clarify that we don't always see these separations so just as clearly as we've just seen.
It's incredible. It's still visible at 2 minutes 45 after the launch liftoff.
Any fairing is there is designed to protect the satellite from air frictions in the atmospheric phase. And when we reach the limit of the atmosphere, and when we reach space, we no longer need a structure to protect the satellite. So will separate the fairing, shedding weight in the process, dead weight we don't need for the next part of the mission.
And as we fly into the sky, we remove the dead weights.
Absolutely, this is a very principle of the launch operations, and this is quite an essential sequence, because can you imagine if the fairing doesn't work properly, then, and when we want to separate the satellite, I think we would have a bit of a problem.
Quite so, separation of the fairing is a very important event with the two half fairings splitting apart. We could talk more about the specificity of this fairing as the SPS special tropical.
Absolutely, this fairing has been developed in cooperation with Russia in the framework of Soyuz cooperation in French Guiana, and the objective was to have an equivalent volume to that of under the Ariane 4 fairing. So that's 11 meters in height, 4 meters in diameters in terms of this fairing. That we can say is the manufacturer of these fairing. And here, this is a simulation. Let us point this out, but we need to wait for confirmation.
And as you just said, it's important, separation of the fairing.
As Raphael indicated, this is a very important stage in this process.
Just pointed out, the images we see, the 3D images you have on your screens, are according to the flight program, and we've just seen the extinction of the lower stage and the hot separation, that is the upper engine has switched on, and Soyuz is continuing on its way. It's the hot separation, as we call it.
Confirmation of separation of Block A.
So it's a sun-synchronous orbit. We went straight towards the north with Soyuz. During these, it's like the ball of yarn that runs regularly above the north and the south pole.
It is a low orbit, a circular orbit between 400 and 900 kilometers in altitude. It is very often used by Earth's observation satellite, and what's unique about it is that satellites will fly over a specific spot in the air of Paris, let's say every day at 2 p.m. It's very handy because you can take pictures at a given location, same conditions of sunlight, and you can compare and contrast images one after the other. And this is also why we're aiming at a defined moment on liftoff, because it is like on-spot locations, on right locations, at the right moment.
Thank you for these explanations. We now join Anthony Blue in Kourou, who met Cyril Pontrin. I'm here with Cyril Pontrin. You are mission director for Arianespace. How did the campaigns for the VS25 went dormant for 10 months? How did you organize Arianespace?
Well, the first question we looked into was that whether we should the satellites in Guyana when given the costs and technical constraints, it was decided to lead the satellite to the Guiana Space Center, then the checkout test equipment, electronic base, and allow the implementation of the satellite. So very quickly it was decided to return these to Toulouse as a part of the construction of the third satellite, CSO-3.
So could you give us a few examples of operations?
Well, cryostat is an example. It is a cooling device for the satellite, very sensitive equipment, and in June and in August, teams from Toulouse came to French Guiana to carry out maintenance activity of this cryostat.
10 months is a long time. Did you have to redo everything?
Absolutely. All operations resumed, notably activities related to maintenance of satellites, and some of the satellite equipment had a lifespan that had been expired, and notably the pyrotechnic devices required the opening of a solar array, and these activities, these operations missions kept us busy in the second part of this campaign.
It's just between Christmas and New Year for the teams also. It must have been quite complicated.
I'd like to stress the extreme commitment of the teams both from the Guiana Space Center and the Russian teams, because this period is favorable to resting with your family, but the objectives for in space was to have 2 liftoffs for Soyuz and Vega. It was the end of the year, and everything went well.
And tomorrow will be also a very important day.
Yes, first day of chronology for Soyuz, and it's quite special because between transfer launch to liftoff, that's 4 days, and all activities are perfectly identified in the schedule to the very minute.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Back to Paris and the studio to follow the rest of the show. Thank you, Anthony. Well, indeed, Soyuz is still on track. You heard the DDO. It's like giving us the main thread. Everything is nominal. Everything is going according to plan. Soon will be the separation of Block I. It has already happened, actually. It's going so fast. And now
we have confirmation of separation of Block I. Soyuz has now done its job by injecting the frigate on a suborbital orbit.
So the nose module is the upper composite, that is frigate, with, of course, the CSO satellite hooked onto it. So Soyuz is injecting the upper composite onto a sub-orbit intermediate.
Yes, as Remy stated, the 3-stage has completed its mission. A frigate is kind of considered as a payload like any other for the launcher, and will take over and will take the satellite on its operational and circular orbit. For the time being, we are on an intermediate trajectory, suborbital orbit, as Remy stated.
And in a few moments, we will see the first. At present time, it seems that it has already happened.
Indeed. The simulation images, yes, it has indeed occurred, and this is from our standpoint in terms of the launch mission, and I think Remy will have a different standpoint. This is the start of the life of the satellite into space. Confirmation of separation. CSO-2 has separated.
So it's done. The job is done. Like you said, at the same time, everybody's starts applauding. So we see a thumbs up, victory. It's a successful launch. I can see many important managers here in the fishbowl. On the other side, they're all very happy. Yeah, it's heartwarming indeed. This is, well, all this for success, and we're all aware of this now. The penny has dropped, and we can't dream of a better end of the year for Arianespace. Remy as a sales developer at Arianespace. It's a nice ending, isn't it?
Indeed, very nice end of the year. Pictures and these pictures speak for themselves. People tend to hug, but as a result of health constraints, that's not because we can see these moments of collective joy. Quite unique as an experience. Can't be blasé watching these pictures because every launch is really, really quite unique, quite special. And look at these pictures, it's tremendous.
So it's something new every time. It's exceptional, isn't it?
This is a great relief and great pride as well. Indeed, I'm very fortunate. I'm doing an extraordinary job, an extraordinary job, out of the ordinary. So you never get used to this feeling. This is the combination of several months' worth of work, and this is the combination of all this work accomplished. This is really what we keep in mind and what we take ourselves. I'd like to, all my colleagues in our department will continue to be hard at work and have allowed us to get all this real-time information, so bravo to them. Kudo. And this has been a combination of many years of work, from the design, from the idea of designing satellites to launch. It can be many, many years. years in between, in the making.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
People are used to delivering such launches, and this is always a very, very special moment indeed.
So we will repeat, however, that it's not by chance that we have a successful launch to close this year 2020, because here, not here, I feel like I'm in Kourou in Guyana, you know. The teams have been really committed, have worked. There was this postponement yesterday, and we're also between Christmas and New Year, so real bravo to all the people involved in this flight. Whenever Stéphane Israël can evade the fishbowl, we will listen to him according to the final speeches, him and other VIPs, perhaps. Perhaps we could say, in a few words, this Soyuz launch vehicle. Oh, they are all here. So the question will be asked directly to Stéphane Israël, the CEO of Arianespace. We've just seen the separation of CSO-2, Stéphane. Is that mission accomplished for Arianespace?
Yes, mission perfectly accomplished, and great success tonight that brings our 2020 campaign. Soyuz has delivered the Soyuz delivered the first and final launch of the year, and I'd like to extend my thanks to all partners, Russians, partners on the Guiana Space Center, and all our partners here tonight. And it is I'd like to give them the floor now.
Thank you, Stéphane. It is true, it's with great emotion and pride that I'm here for the launch of CSO-2 2 years after CSO-1. So thank you to the teams of Arianespace, Soyuz teams, and all the teams of CSG also who made this success possible today. And it's a really moving moment and great news for the French armed forces. And I would like to thank also the satellite manufacturers and the prime contractors and Airbus and all their partners for manufacturing this satellite. We heard a lot in the video transmission that it was a unique system in Europe. Personally speaking, I think it is the best Earth observation satellite in the world, and this is really something worth noting. And in particular, tonight, I would like to extend my warmest thanks to the teams in Toulouse, CNES, and also all their partners, satellite systems operations, who are already at work. And while we go back to our families to spend some time resting, they will be busy placing the satellite on a precise orbit and having all the instruments checked for operation and commissioning. So all the best to them, and we will, in 2 weeks from now, expect the first images. So in the meantime, Happy New Year, and all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, and great happiness. What a suspense! Indeed, 2 years ago, we launched the CSO-1, which is the first of a series of new generation of satellites offering state-of-the-art capacitors globally and in Europe for our partners, German, Swedish, Belgian, and others hopefully to come. And this is really the excellence and know-how of French and European excellence. I'd like to say some thanks to all who've contributed to the CSO program and the Aegis of the Defense Procurement Agency in cooperation with CNES and our partners for space. Taking care of the approach management of the satellite systems. Our industrial partners, Airbus, Defense and Space, and Thales and Arianespace, our primes, as well as all the subcontractors and all those who've taken care of this launch. The CSG, the Guiana Space Center, Arianespace, for this mission to success. And this is a milestone for the modernizing the upgrading of our military space capabilities. Looking forward to meeting you again for the launch of CNES, the third satellite. There was a new Syracuse 80 new generation satellites in 2022 for CSO-3 and for Syracuse 4B. Thank you very much, and bravo to all.
Thank you. So I suppose everything's been said by Stéphane, Caroline and Lionel. Therefore, of course, it's with great joy that I attended this launch here to close this year 2020, which was rather complicated, and for everybody to crown it with this success. We launched a magnificent satellite. We'll be producing images of extraordinary quality. We are very much looking forward to this. Our military operators are behind their desks awaiting these images, although they will have to wait a little bit. And I would like to congratulate and thank all those who took part in this beautiful success launch. And I do so not only in the name of the Space Command, but the whole military community, intelligence and space community, and also all the customers of these images from CSO. And if I dare say, I would do so in the name of all the Ministry of the Armed Forces. And again, it's a great success. I would like to congratulate all those who contributed to this, the industrial partners, the Guiana Space Center, CNES, the DGA, the Command Space teams and Space Command teams, and all the others. Thank you. So there was a General Freeman from the Space Command. Well, it's just by coincidence, but we here in the studio, we're not in Guiana, where we are just 200 meters away from the Ministry of Defense in the 15th District. Just a coincidence, you say? Well, we'll now leave the floor to Jean-Yves Le Gall, the CEO of CNES, the National Center for Space Studies.